Good morning and welcome to Zest India Tea Talkers, the third episode. And for the last two episodes, we have been discussing a lot about various HR issues across the country. We have discussed about child molestation, the psychology behind child molestation. Today, it's a very special episode. Today, I have not got just one guest, but two guests, out of which you all have met one, Mr. Shubhamay Bhattacharya, who was there in the first episode of Tea Talkers, and we have spoken a lot about value orientation in human life. Today, I have a very special person who will be speaking and taking the value orientation part on an advanced level. I have Mr. Anirban Boshu and Mr. Shubhamay Bhattacharya. Sir, thank you so much for being the part of the show. Mr. Bhattacharya, as usual, I always feel glad meeting you. And before going ahead with the entire discussion, first question is for Mr. Bhattacharya, because Mr. Boshu has been known to you for quite some times now. And I remember you telling me offline that I should call him on this particular show, because this is something which we want to take it to the world, because we are maintaining a YouTube channel and where we have viewers from across the country and even outside the country as well. So I wanted to understand, like, what has actually made you recommend him? Like, I know you know him, but you know many people like him. Like, why him? So if you could just help me understand, like, why Mr. Boshu, and how can he actually take this forward, the objective that we have behind Tea Talkers. What has actually made you recommend him? If you can just help me understand.
Yeah, only one thing is that, Shohit, as in our last discussion, when I told you about value orientation and the concept, when I met Swami Yuktanandaji in an executive development program, and along with Swamiji, Anirban Bosu was also there.
Okay.
Right. And that was in 1994 October. And since then, whenever I have met them, whenever I have met Swamiji, whenever I have met in different programs of value orientation program, the main thing which I felt, that the concept, which is the need of the hour, and meeting new generations, younger generations, and just trying to share the concept of value orientation or whatever which he will be telling to you. I felt that whenever we are talking of values and value orientation, a person who has inspired me most, apart from Swami Yuktanandaji, was Mr. Anirban Boshu.
Okay.
And incidentally, what happened is, when he, apart from his professional things and all, when he decided to leave this country, and now he's now in Canada, and I've been in touch with him, and I've always felt that Anirban is the same Anirban. Whenever he's communicating, there is Vedanta, there is values, there is that spiritual, that insight always comes out, and I get inspired.
All right.
So I thought that yes, since Shovik, you are seriously thinking of this, taking this concept and sharing to the world, I believe that he's one of our. I believe that he's a part of a team. Right? He has been always. So he has come to Kolkata.
And we could not miss the opportunity of calling him. Okay, that's great. Mr. Boshu, like, you had been in Kolkata, you have studied in Ramakrishna Mission, Purulia for your entire life, and you worked in government undertaking companies like CESC, and then you moved outside this country. But this root, the human value orientation inside you, and working for full time in 4 years at Vivekananda Nithi, has that transformed you as a human being?
Oh yes, absolutely. What I would say is that, let me start from the beginning of Vivekananda Nidhi, when I came in contact with Swami Yuktananda. That was in 1982. That was in the year 1982. I have just passed out from engineering, and then I have completed my diploma in statistical quality control and operation research in Indian Statistical Institute in 81. And 82 was the 25th year the silver jubilee of my alma mater, which is Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapith, Purulia. So what happened was the General Secretary of Vivekananda Nidhi, who was also an avid media person in that sense of photography and videography and all that, Nitendra Krishna Bhattacharya, he was present in that event at Purulia. And as I was a very good student, not in the academic sense, but a very popular student, because I was singing very well and I used to love bhajans and all. So the Swamis always put me in the front for the programs as a singer. The opening song is always there. So I am always there, and he was finding, oh, I have to talk with this boy. So he brought me to Vivekananda Nidhi at 1982, and we met Swami Yuktananda again, I would say, because he had been to Purulia back in 1970 for a brief time. So I was also looking for what to do for others. That was the basic starting point, feeling for others. That is the premise we have always worked in Vivekananda Nidhi, and wherever we are working, wherever we are doing, like Shubhamoy, me, everybody. Like even you are doing this. Why are you doing this? Because you have a feeling for others, And that is the transformation that you are asking, that Vivekananda Nidhi has actually given us a avenue or a medium to transform ourselves, to give expression to our feeling for others. So value orientation movement as such is basically the movement to be able to practicing love for all. Because we know at the background that, as I was telling you in the offline, that the premise we start from is oneness. Right. Advaita Vedanta talks about oneness, right? Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, or Ekam Evad Ditiyam, whatever you call it, whatever name you call it from. But that I am one with the universe, and this I is not the small I, it is the capital I. Right? That Rabindranath, not Choto Ami, Boro Ami, the big I. So that I am one with the universe, which is exactly the statement of the Mahavakya, I am Brahmasmi, meaning the same. So that got an expression and made us, the transformation that you are talking about. This is how we are practicing and gradually transforming. I am not saying that the transformation is complete. It is always progressing. We are striving towards that excellence of transformation into that personality, that person which can encompass everybody, everything, the whole universe into yourself.
So could you just help me understand, like on a holistic level, like if you think on a very macro level, and if you think of the Indian culture and Indian Vedas, which is like getting spread across the world. It started from India, the origin is in India, but it's getting spreaded across the world, and people are actually practicing Vedas in their own ways, which I have understood. Right? Yeah. So it's not just about pronunciation and scripting about Sanskrit. It's just about they're practicing Vedas in their own ways, maybe through their work, maybe through their everyday life. So according to your views, like can you give us a holistic understanding, like how has Vedas been inculcated in the country which you are living in right now?
So I would rather say, in North America, what I found when I went there is, if you take up Gita, they are totally, if we look from our perspective normally, you will find that they are, they are individualistic, right? And whereas we normally are we claim to be very social, right? We care for each other and all that, as if they don't care for each other or not. But what we found is that whatever has been told in the Gita, which is the basic point of Gita, I think is, as Thakur Ramakrishna has said, you repeat Gita 10 times, you will get Tyagi, which is sacrifice. Right. Or not exactly sacrifice, it is detachment. If you find them, see, normally I will call it a use and throw culture, right? But within that, there is that principle, I am not attached to that. You will find a person in North America moving their houses 13 times in their own life. So 13 times moving a house means you are not attached to the house, although you have a house, right? Here we think about, oh, I have got a big house, I have got a palatial house. No, they don't care for it. That is the detachment I find there. Right? That is the detachment. That is the practicing of Gita has been practically implemented by them in their principles of life even. Maybe they don't know about it, they are not aware of it, but they are practicing it. On the other hand, we are taking the individualistic part only here, like, copying and pasting, that we have to give up. Like, we use the term India, as you said, Indian culture, but I would rather, use the word Bharatvarsha. India is, the term India comes from a geographical term of, what should I say, a deteriorated version of the river Indus, which was called Sindhu in Sanskrit, and the Persians could not pronounce it and they called Hind. Right? That is where Hind came from, and anybody living on the eastern side was Hindustani. And there was no religion part of it. But because of the colonial people and all that coming in who did not understand or deliberately chose not to understand, whatever you call them, they used the word Hindu as a religion, which is absolutely a misnomer. I should say a totally wrong concept. Hinduism is not a religion. Hindu is a way of life. Sanatana Dharma is the way of life. And Sanatana Dharma is Dharma, which is what, again, the word Dharma cannot be translated into religion. Dharma is equal to religion. No, because religion is organized religion as we see it. But what is Dharma? Dharma is, in Sanskrit, the meaning means that which gives you your identity. Dhriti, iti dharma. That which जो आपको धारण करता है, जो आपको आपका वजूद देता है, that one, that which gives you your identity, that is dharma. And what is dharma here? Sanatana dharma means humanity. That is, so that part is practiced there because they care for humanity much more than we do here. If you ask a person here, yesterday night I was talking to a class 12 student, and she says, oh, I cannot see a dog getting killed. That's why I will not study veterinary science. I will not be a doctor of animals. But if you want to be a doctor, you will see patients dying in front. Oh, no, Manush, it's all right. What is this, man? As if humanity doesn't have. See, that is how we have grown ourselves. See, this is the ambience we have created for our children like them, right? I cannot blame that girl. It is we parents that have not done our duty to inculcate the Bharatvarsha in us. What is Bharatvarsha? Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Relationships we are talking about, right? Kutumba means relatives. The whole Vasudha is our relative. Means what? Again, the same statement, the holistic statement, that I am one with you.
I have a very interesting thing that just hit in my mind. I have been a corporate trainer, so I have been training for the last 6-7 years in various corporates. So there's something in corporate training. There is a kind of a training that we call, which is called interpersonal skill training, right? So in fact, we also discussed, like, for quite some times when we were discussing, when he was with his previous organization, we discussed a lot of things about interpersonal skills training. Somewhere I felt that this training cannot be done, like nobody can train on interpersonal skills, right? That's something which is automatically inculcated inside a human being, right? No trainer, nobody in this world can come up and train somebody on interpersonal skills. That's relationships, right? If you see the corporates nowadays, there are politics inside the corporates. There are healthy atmosphere inside the corporate. There are healthy competitions. But at the end of the day, people always try to win, right? And that somewhere pulls them back from what they were actually thinking of achieving, right? And that's indirectly affecting the interpersonal relations inside the corporates. It can be among the peers, it can be with the senior and the juniors, it can be with anybody, right? So, practicing such value orientation, practicing Vedas for quite some times and being a student of Ramakrishna Mission, how would you see this thing? Like, is interpersonal skill is a necessity in the companies nowadays?
See, I will use the one word It's a 4-letter word. We have maybe we have derogated it to a very low level. That is my benchmark, love. L-O-V-E, love. In Sanskrit, we'll call it prem. So if you remember Mirabai's bhajan, I was just telling you that sadhan karna chahiye manwa, preet karna chahi, prem lagana chahiye manwa, bhajan karna chahi. So you're talking about Vedas, that is our basic, okay? So what does it say? Sat, Chit, Anandam, right? Sat is existence, I exist, yes. That I exist is something which is self-effulgent. I don't need any external proof of that. Chit, I know I exist, that's my knowledge, right? These are all self coming. Nobody has to tell you, just exactly as you are saying. Interpersonal skills, you don't have to train, no, because the Ananda is already within me. I just have to break the boundaries that we have created. I would rather say it is rather unlearning of how to get rid of the boundaries, or learning how to get rid of the boundaries, or unlearning that the boundaries are not there. That is, if you at all have to talk about interpersonal training, love is the watchword, love is the benchmark, and when we say about achievement or something, so the achievement has to live to be, the ideal has to be excellent. It's not a question of competition amongst one and one. It's the excellence we are all striving towards. And if excellence is all we are striving towards, then if you and me are on the same level and we are striving towards excellence, and what is the excellence we are striving for? The excellence we are striving for is to feel one with everybody. That is the case, that can be a corporate value. Right. That is the point we have to go for. Love has to be the corporate value worldwide. If that is not possible, then competition will always create all these conflicts, and maybe people are wanting them deliberately to keep the conflicts, fresh, so that they can continue, nurturing them and all that.
So if I am allowed to ask,
yes,
I just ask Arivanda that Arivanda, you have been with this so-called education in human values, and being a part of Vivekananda Nidhi, you have been interacting with students, teachers, corporates also. Now you have, since you are from a Ramakrishna mission background, where the entire curriculum you have seen, it was incorporated, these values and Indian scriptures. But if we talk of the normal education system in this country, we don't have those things. So according to you, there is a moral education and there is value education.
Yes.
What is the difference between these two? Could you
like you are saying, moral education and value education?
Yes.
I would not talk about moral education anymore, because moral education means like something, as you are exactly saying, like if I am trying to teach interpersonal skills, no, it is there. Yes. As I said, relationships are discovered, they are already there. You'd only discover them as and when the boundaries fall off. Right. The Shima, the boundaries fall off. As and when we come to know that they are illusories, then this relationship becomes understandable, and I understand you very well when there is no boundaries. Similarly, moral education, it basically talks of, if you say, let us say that you have to tell the truth. You don't have to tell the truth. You pick up a child. It is always telling the truth. We actually teach them how not to tell the truth.
How to manipulate.
Yes, and that is why and that is why we have brought them to a stage now we have to tell them back again, okay, don't tell the truth, don't tell untruth anymore. That's farce. Right. That is what moral education is all about, that you have brought them up in a bad level and now you are saying, okay, now you have to become good again. Moral education basically means we are actually starting to unlearn whatever we have learned, to create boundaries, to be much more self-centered and all that, and now we are telling them back by the definition of morality that you have to overcome boundaries and love others and love thy neighbor as thyself and things like that. Yes, I understand that part, because we are in a problem. We are in a very problematic situation now. I understand that. But basically, value education is understanding what we stand for today and where we are going to, where do you want to go to. And keeping the holistic picture in mind, my point is very clear. As I said, oneness, I am one with the universe, is the first and last talk of Vedanta. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is in Bharatvarsha's main thrust. Bharatvarsha has always gone forward in the world with love. So practicing love, that 4-letter word as I was telling, is the main value that we have to practice. That is my one pointed answer to value education. Why cannot we think of all the students in the class getting 100? Let us create an ambience of bringing up people to that level so that everybody gets 100. Why not? Then we get 100 good people who can work for the country, who can work good for anything, who can work for the good economics of the country. Everything can be good. Right. The world gets good people, that's all. So that has to be there. So, and that can only come from the understanding of value education, as value is those three things. Understand that I am this, I am the whole universe, and to make that understand come inside, practice love. Practice love. Practice love. As I was saying, sadhan karna chahiye manwa, preet karna chahiye, prem lagana chahiye manwa, bhajan karna chahiye. Bhajan means not only singing bhajans. Bhajan means talking continuously, contemplating on within yourself about I have to do at least each step of my life. The moment I get up from bed and up to the point that I go back to sleep, have I practiced love throughout my day? That should be the benchmark for value education. That is my last word and first word.
No, in that, I just ask one thing. See, you're talking of getting 100. So you're getting 100, scoring high marks. These are skill development, right? Isn't it? You're talking of that, and all of all will be skilled. But how do you relate skills and values?
No, my point was clear. The reason I am talking about everybody getting 100 has got the value of love behind it. Everybody means everybody is best. There is nothing called good, better, best anymore. So everybody is best means we know every person is potentially divine. Amritasya Putra, Vivekananda is talking about. What is education? Education, Vivekananda is talking about manifestation of the divinity already in man. So getting 100 is not skill development in that sense. Getting 100 has got a background of where it is coming from. So the student that is getting 100 is also helping his co-student because he loves, he knows that he is one with his fellow student also. That is why they both go together. They don't compete with each other anymore. So that is how the value of love is inculcated, not as a skill anymore, which is already inside, that is getting slowly manifested. You be and become.
But when you say love and feeling for each other, if you see today's world and if you see our generation in today's world, the young generation, yes, there has been a sort of transformation that has happened. I'll not say the transformation is for the bad, the transformation is for the good as well. So keeping in view both the sides, where if I see my batchmates who are working in various corporates, who are doing their own entrepreneurship into business or something, the values have changed. If we see our generation, and when I see my youngest generation, my brothers or my cousins and sisters who are going to the colleges and schools, things have changed a lot from your time to our time and to their time right now. So is this, according to you, is this a value orientation that has happened, or is this a value change that has happened? I mean, what is it? I mean, both the goods and the bad things I'm speaking about.
One thing we have to be very clear about. Change, as long as we are thinking about life and death, change is constant. It will happen. Right. So the first thing is you have to accept change as it comes. But again, that is the point. there are something, the values that are eternal. Eternal in the sense of they cannot change, they don't change. Love, as I said, that doesn't change. Feeling for others doesn't change. So if that is always there at the back of the mind, I can accept any change that comes across me. That is the point. That is the point of value education. If I am absorbed in love, just take a straight example of Holy Mother Sarada Devi. Just look at her life. Look at all the problems you can think of today. She has faced each one of them in its extreme level. And she is always at the Vedantic level all the time. She is a practicing Vedantist in front of us. That is what our target has to be. Right? So change has to come, because other than change you cannot survive. Survive means what? Survive means in this temporal world. See, I am always talking about that alertness, that I am one with the universe. When I talk about, I have to be continuously aware of that. So if I think from there, all this is happening is just a projection, right? It's just a projection. In terms of Vedanta, this is all a projection. As long as I am aware of that, so this is a temporal world, and in this temporal world, how do I behave? According to my own set of values and your set of values, and the relationship that we understand, the right relationships, behavior according to the right relationships, all those understandings will come. But that back picture, the big picture, has always to be there. Love and feeling for others, Sat Chit Ananda, has to be there here. When it comes, then only you can always, wherever you are, you can survive. You can, you will exuberate.
So is this the reason that you have been teaching Sanskrit to a 4-year-old Canadian child or a foreigner who's not from India? Is this the reason that their parents have sent their children? Or is it that, you have been preaching Vedas, you have been teaching Vedas, you have been teaching Sanskrit as well. So what is the reason that these foreign parents are sending their children to you or somebody who's teaching Vedas and Sanskrits, and a child who's just 4 or 5 years old?
Think it very simply. Let us not think big. Think it very simply. A mother is careful about her child. So she wants, because again, see, that is where it comes from. The value in the mother is love for her child in the first place, as well as love for humanity in the first place, love for a child becoming a good human being in the first place, right? That is what is driving her from the perspective of value orientation. What is driving her into this action? That is driving her. That is the value. Love for her child, love for her becoming a good human being, becoming a good citizen of the world, right? So she can see that this teaching of Sanskrit, as we say, but it's not only the teaching of Sanskrit. The meaning behind the Sanskrit word is that which ultimately has to hit here, has to be here. So the way we grow up, so she's trying to create an ambience for her child to become a good human being. That is what is driving her, and that is why we are doing it. So for me, it is again, as I said, practice of love. For me, that child, 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, is basically divinity in the form of a human being. And my training her into a Sanskrit pronunciation and saying Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karvavahai, all that with those tones, in tones and all that is, and sitting straight, explaining. Every moment you are explaining her, right? Why you are doing it. And you have to be always ready with the answers, the questions that are coming from those young ones. You have to be ready. And Bharatvarsha has provided all the answers. Vedanta has provided all the answers. That is the beauty. You can question it to the n number of things and it will provide you the answer. That is the beauty that can come from value orientation on the Vedantic perspective, from Bharatvarsha. So that is what we are doing. So we are practicing love. I cannot change the world. I can only change myself. And by changing myself, the world gets changed. That is what, that is how it works. So they find a person who is loving them, to their mother, to their teacher, everybody, everywhere. Like we found in our Purulia Ramakrishna Mission Vidyapit. They were like loving teachers. They used to carry us with them to, not study the curriculum only. Go to the library, read this, Pather Sanchoy, Rabindranath Tagore. Read this song, understand this song. Na chahile jare pawa jaye, te agile ashe hate. Talking about Isha Upanishad. Isavasyam vidang sarvang yat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita. Means you can only enjoy it by giving it up. So, na chahile, if you don't want, you get it. Tare pawa jaye. Tyagile, tyag karo, make the sacrifice. Sacrifice in the sense of giving up the boundaries. Right. It's not a sacrifice in the negative sense. It's knowing that the boundaries don't exist.
Doesn't exist, right? And
understand?
Comes to you.
Then the whole thing is yours.
Yes, right. Great.
That is value.
Great, wonderful.
That is exactly what.
I'm stunned today. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhattacharya, for getting him here, because I think the idea of coming up about this platform, Tea Talkers, has got justified today, because we have been practicing a lot of things. We have been trying to do and discuss with the experts of different fields and so many things, but Mr. Boshu is someone who's very different, and I'm feeling enriched today somewhere, and there's a feeling of fullness inside me, which is actually provoking me to conduct and reshoot this episode with him once more. He will be going back to Canada on the 2nd of January, but technology has moved and pulled away the boundaries. So, you going away physically will not take you away from us. So, I'm sure that we will meet again virtually again, and we will do such shootings. But I would not like to leave you just by saying a thank you. I heard a lot about you, and there is a very special quality that I heard apart from the Vedas and the spirituality that you have inside you. Before we call it off, before we call this a day, I would request you to sing a song for us, and that would be a different kind of an ending to our show today.
Okay, so what is coming to the mind is the song that I sang just on the 6th of December, 5th of December. I was in Purulia with my 100-year-old dad. He is like a god to me. He introduced me to spirituality, whatever you call it, right from the day one. Khandano Bhava Vandhano was he who taught, and then he brought me to Purulia Ramakrishna Mission. He was instrumental in doing it through a merit scholarship exam and all that. So there, we had been there, and they asked me to sing a song, and that song is got a background of Swami Vivekananda.
Okay.
So he was in the Khetri Maharaj's darbar, and after the discussion, then the Maharaj said, "Okay, Swami, we will treat you with a song of the Baiji now."
Okay.
And the sadhu says, "Okay, I'm a sannyasi. I cannot, look into the Baiji's face or hear to her. I have to go out now." So he just started walking 1, 2, 3 like, and the Baiji started singing this song. So I'll tell the next part later. You can understand from the song what she's talking about. Samdarshi hai naam tuharo, samdarshi hai naam tuharo, चाहे तो पार करो प्रभु जी, प्रभु मेरे अब गुना चित न धरो, एक लोहा पूजा में राखत, एक रहत व्याध घरों पर, पारस के मन द्विधा नहीं है, दूहु एक कांचन करो प्रभु जी, अब गुण चित न धरो। एक नदिया एक नार कहावत, मैल ही नीर भरो। जब मिली दोनों एक बरन भयो, सुरसरी नाम परो प्रभु जी, अब गुण चित न धरो। एक जीव एक ब्रह्म कहावत, सूरदास झगड़ो। अज्ञान से भेद होवे, अज्ञान से भेद होवे, ज्ञानी काहे भेद करो प्रभु जी, अब गुण न करो।